So much. Well, there is a lot to process from President Biden's speech, and for that, we want to bring back our powerhouse panel, former Nevada State GOP chairwoman and Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian, Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps, and constitutional attorney and Newsmax contributor Amir Benno. Now, the president was pushing his American Jobs Plan during his speech to the joint session of Congress. Take a listen.
America's moving forward. But we can't stop now. We're in competition with China and other countries to win the 21st century. We're at a great inflection point in history. We have to do more than just build back better. We have to build back better. We have to compete more strenuously than we have.
I don't even know what he's talking about. Amy, what did you make of the speech?
Well, you know, he also, in that particular section of his speech, repeated the words, jobs, jobs, jobs. Just because you repeat something over and over and over doesn't make it a fact. And we do know what is a fact is during the shutdown that there were millions of jobs that were lost. So when he talks about the unemployment rate going down as we are now slowly going back to normal life, well, that's because we've had millions of people who weren't allowed to go to their work. And then now they're trying to find work. But on the other hand, you've also got, which he touted, his stimulus checks that keep coming in. And they want to continue also to extend unemployment. Here in the state of Nevada, we still have 1 in 5 Nevadans receiving unemployment, with an increase in help wanted signs popping up all over the place. Do you really think that this continued government handout is giving the incentive to go back to work? I don't think so. This guy's delusional and has it all backwards.
Well, Christopher, again, you have this policy from the Democrats, always giving you exactly what you need to stay exactly where you are. We see that reflected in these job numbers. We have individuals in desperate need of employees with no employees to be found, even though we know people are still collecting unemployment. You know, how do we get the average American to look past the words of President Biden to see the reality of the policy that he is ushering in?
You know, that's one of the perverse things that was in this stimulus plan that was passed, is that it is paying people more to stay at home than to actually go to work. You know, I think the president last night brilliantly illustrated the difference between Republicans and Democrats when it comes to taxes. If you remember when the president was saying that he is not going to raise taxes on people over $400,000, they make over $400,000, he asked the Republicans, well, if you don't want to raise taxes on people that make over $400,000, then whose taxes do you want to raise? And that shows that they really don't understand basic economics and conservatism. We don't want to raise taxes, Mr. President. We want to cut spending.
Well, Amir, to that point, the spending is out of control. You really look at, I mean, people keep trying to make comparisons. You had Van Jones taking to Twitter, God bless him, talking about Joe Biden reaching for his best version of FDR. You look at the actual cost of the New Deal that was passed by FDR. I mean, this is 20 of the types of New Deal type programs all jammed into one, spending that we're going to be paying for into perpetuity. We can never actually really truly afford it. What are you saying right now? What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, this is, Joe, this is just promoting government dependency. That's what this is. This is his social welfare. Like I said before, $6 trillion in the first, and that's before you even get to the normal budget and the normal entitlements, expanding the entitlement state. He wants to incur more spending to the tune of $6 trillion. But some things I just want to point out, you know, when we're talking about, we had mentioned before about the China, the infrastructure, he doesn't allocate any money in this infrastructure bill towards traditional research and development to be able to compete with China. So all of his statements saying we have to be able to confront China are just words. The other thing, what he didn't say, in addition to talking about the border, to Chris's point earlier, was he didn't mention anything about Russia in the Ukraine situation. He didn't talk about court packing. He didn't talk about D.C. statehood. He didn't talk about the Iran deal. He didn't talk about destroying the filibuster. And he made some points. He said, We the people are government. That was what he said in his sort of coda to the speech. This is really reflective. It's a window to his soul as to how he really views what government's role is. He said that America is just an idea. Ideas can change. America is much more than just an idea. It's something based on a constitution that is very real and immutable. He went so far as to also say that white supremacy, he made that a focus of his speech. He started talking about the George Floyd death and racial tones when Keith Ellison, in his interview with 60 Minutes, came out and said, we didn't charge a hate crime here because this was not a racial incident. But yet they still perpetuate these divisive lies. And then finally, to talk about climate, he doesn't, I'm sorry, the border, he says the reason why people are coming to the border, he didn't talk about it, but he sort of referenced it in passing, saying they're coming because of environmental factors, earthquakes, he said, hurricanes, natural disasters. This is somebody who's completely out of touch with what's actually happening and who doesn't see that it's his own policies that are encouraging the crisis at the border. So across all spheres here, he's just completely he's in left field.
Well, I mean, I think we're all just spinning. I mean, even just a few hours before the president's speech, federal agents raided Rudy Giuliani's Manhattan home and office, seizing computers, cell phones, and the like. Major escalation of the Justice Department's investigation into the business dealings of the former Trump personal attorney. Here is Andrew Giuliani from earlier this morning speaking about Hunter Biden's laptop. Take a listen.
The FBI came in looking for devices. They took his 2 phones. They took his iPad. The one thing that they did not take, which I told Sean last night, was Hunter Biden's laptop. The one thing they didn't take. I mean, what is this? Are we still in America? This is unbelievable. I mean, that's the only piece of incriminating evidence that was in that apartment. And it doesn't incriminate my father. It incriminates Hunter.
Amy, what are your thoughts here? Number one, does Andrew Giuliani have a point? And then number two, when you have that type of probe, it appears, into the president's private attorney, what does this say about the state of our Department of Justice?
Incredibly scary, and everyone should be nervous about this type of behavior. And I think that the entire administration, the current administration, is very well aware of what's going on. It does seem that retaliation for Rudy actually bringing to the forefront Hunter's unfortunate situation with a laptop, and they're very angry about it. We also know that there's a history within the Democratic leadership of actually retaliating against their adversaries. We know that the Obama administration spied on the Trump administration as they were ready to take office. So this is a pattern of behavior that is all too often common with the Democratic side. And I think we should all be extremely nervous, because if this is going to happen to the former president's attorney, it could happen to you or I at the drop of a hat.
Absolutely. It's got to be good for the goose, must be good for the gander. I think the gander are going to find themselves having a whole lot of trouble if we continue down this path. Thanks to our panel. We appreciate your insight.